I am currently into the Metaverse application, and I'll show you the use cases like how people are using Metaverse in the current time. So once I go into the Metaverse application, I can see there is a Meta Club, right? So what it is doing, so Nestle is advertising it some of the cereals here. So Nestle is a company, right? You must be aware of. So we'll jump into that club now and see like what exactly they have built or how exactly they're publishing their new product. This is another characteristic of a blockchain. Like it has a peer-to-peer network and a replicated ledger, and the entries are linked together with each other. It's protected by a cryptographic key, and it's a decentralized system. So everyone owns the data at its end. So to create a smart contract, we can build a smart contract on top of Solidity, and we can create it on Ethereum network. And these are some characteristics of the same. Like it's a decentralized agreement, and the important part is it is immutable and transparent. So in Brave browser also, if you see any advertisement, you have a choice like if you wanted to see advertisement or not. In the earlier case, whenever you are seeing some advertisement on YouTube or any other channel, you're not earning out of it, right? But in Brave, kind of decentralized application, whatever you will see or whatever time you are spending on the advertisement, you will get a return in terms of coins, or Brave has a bat coin, so it will give you bat coins in the exchange, and you can spend that coins in some different avenues. That is again to your choice.
Hi everyone, welcome to our third talk for today. We are here with another interesting session for you all, and this is a topic which is very talked about. This is a thing that is in news a lot of times. I would like to now talk about our next talk, that is an introduction to Web3 Metaverse, smart contracts, and testing fundamentals. This talk will be given by Mukund Zalke, who is technical leader estate at UST. Mukund, if I talk about Mukund has worked as a research and develop team in a research and development team focused on quality engineering. He is responsible for providing leadership and guidance to the quality assurance teams and working collaboratively with the quality managers and the director of quality assurance. He has practiced to develop and implement strategies to improve the effectiveness of the product quality and practice. Now let's give it up for Mukund. I would like to call him up on the stage because I can't wait anymore to listen his thoughts on this interesting topic. Hi, Mukund.
Hey, hi everyone, and a very good afternoon. Thanks for joining the session, and thanks Vanshika for a good introduction. So, without a delay, we'll get started with the topic itself. I have a few good things about the sessions, and there are a lot of demos also and practical examples also in the session. So, in the interest of bandwidth, I'm turning off my videos because we'll go into Metaverse application and all those stuff. So, we'll quickly get started. So, the today's topic is about exploring the future of decentralized technology, introduction to blockchain, Web3, Metaverse, smart contracts, and testing fundamentals. So, these are the very fancy words which you have seen, and even some recent technologies are also emerged into this, right? So, anyway, Vanshika has already talked about me, so I'll skip this part. You can very well connect me on LinkedIn or on Twitter. So, talking about the agenda for today, it's about understanding the fundamentals of ecosystem, introduction to the blockchain, smart contracts, decentralized application. We'll also talk to the journey of like how Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3 progressed. We'll talk about some uh, decentralized application frameworks, how to develop it, what are smart contracts, and understanding it with demo. And we'll deploy one of the demo applications, and we'll also deep dive into like one of the metaverse application and see like how you can use it for your own goods. So coming to the topic back, when we talk about any technologies, we see a lot of investment happening into it, and that is why we everyone is interested into it. Like, what are the new spaces happening? What is the business coming out of it? So McKinsey has already went with a survey on top of it, and they have already identified like 120 billion plus dollars of investment has been flowed into metaverse so far. 79% of consumers are active on this platform, and 15% of revenue has been increased, and it will be increasing in the next 5 years. Similarly, there's another big organization called Gartner. He has also predicted that, like, by current year, there will be 2 trillion of goods and services annually, and by 2027, full virtual workspaces will also account for 30% of our growth, and we can also reimagine the office experience in these times. So now we'll get into like the fundamental layer of this ecosystem, like what exactly it is about, and uh, what are the pillars of it. So starting with the protocol layer. So at the bottom of this stack, we have protocol layer. This is made up of underlying architecture, blockchain architecture, and top of which everything else is built upon. And Bitcoin is granddaddy of all of these. You might have heard about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Polygon Matic in the recent times. So these are the underlying protocol used on which Web3 applications are built upon. Then we have infrastructure and category primitives there. So there are multiple applications associated to it, like secure application or transactions happening on the same, like Uniswap, where we actually exchange the coins. So we'll understand these terms when we see the demo also, like what exactly I'm talking about. But this is some kind of a protocol layer which composed of interoperable building blocks. Uh, then we have use case layer. So use case is something which is visible to your eyes, right? So there is some kind of use cases or case studies on top of it, which we can see it and then experience it. We have use cases in different areas like NFTs, non-fungible tokens like OpenSea. Then we have gaming kind of use cases where we can see applications like Decentralized and Axie, and financial services like Uniswap, and a lot more. Then the top layer is access layer, where you can actually access the wallet or so basically to access to use this application like gaming or NFTs, you need some wallet or some kind of access method to it. So that is where the top layer is about access there, where you might have heard about some browsers called as Brave or the MetaMask wallet, where you can actually connect to interact to and then see this uh, uh, do the transactions on this application. So this might be a very high level examples of the same, but we will go into a little bit deep dive into it. So before moving into it, we'll talk about like what exactly is the pillar of it is blockchain, right? So what is blockchain? What it is built upon, and what are blocks? So instead of theoretical understanding, we'll see it with an example. So we'll see a very basic example. I'll try to explain it to you in a very simple layman terms. Like when we are in a college times or even in doing our graduations, we might be living in some rooms, right? So we are managing our expenses by our own. So here, Vijay and Mukesh are two roommates, and they are managing their expenses. Every week they are managing their expenses, and they are nowhere related to Vijay Mallya or Mukesh Ambani. It's just a coincidence here. So every week they manage their expenses. In this case, like Mukesh has to transfer Vijay $10 at the end of the week, uh, and he gives it. In the next subsequent week, Vijay had to give Mukesh $15, but instead of it, he just give $12. He was a liar, and he just changed the record. But Mukesh got suspicious. So from the next time onwards, he also started maintaining his own records. So Vijay started maintaining his, Mukesh also started maintaining his own records, and in the next subsequent bit, again Vijay changed the actually transaction value to $8 instead of 10, and Vijay got caught because Mukesh was also maintaining the records. In the similar way, in the next week, Gautam joins them, and he's nowhere related to Gautam Adani again. So is three again sharing their expenses together and managing their expenses. So everyone was keeping a record at their end. And in the last week, again, Vijay has to give Gautam $30, but instead he just gave 20. So, but everyone was maintaining the records at their end, so he got caught. So what is actually happening in this? So actually they have created a network, Vijay, Mukesh and Gautam, which we call it as a ledger in this case. And that is one of the important characteristics of blockchain. So we don't have any central authority. Earlier, Vijay was managing it centrally, but later on it got decentralized. Everyone at their end was managing their own expenses. And that is what is one of the major characteristics of blockchain is the peer-to-peer network and the replicated ledger. So this was a layman example. There is no dollar or something like that in blockchains. We have tokens or coins. So we'll see a real-time example of the same. So now they wanted to start their own business. So instead of like managing their expenses on a books, right? They now wanted to create a business of mining the diamonds or uh, diamond business they wanted to go into basically. So instead of having it on the notebooks, or now maintain the records on the computer. So in case of blockchain, there is a block, right? So it has multiple parameters associated to it, like blocks, nonce, and it's an important parameter. So I'll explain it in a simpler way. So you can see this is the first block of the chain, and there is a hash key associated to it, 0xabc. So how it is generated? So hash is nothing but a combination of nonce and data, like 120 and the 5 timers. So it is a unique hash key. So hash is a cryptographic key in any blockchain, and Bitcoin supports SHA-256, but there are multiple other algorithms using other blocks. So when one block is mined, then they have mined another block which has a block number 1, and now you can see there is a previous hash is 0 in the earlier case, but in this case it is the 0 abc because it was the first previous hash block of the same. So now the blocks are associated with respect to the chains, hence the term blockchain. So similarly, in the next case, they have mined 20 diamonds. So the previous hash key changed, and the next hash key is 0xRSJ. So the first block we mined is termed as Genesis in blockchain. And as Mukesh and Gautam is already suspicious about Vijay, so they were also maintaining the records at their end. So now, as we know, like Vijay was a habitual liar, so he actually tried to change one of the block at his end. So he have changed the data from 15 to 12 diamonds. And as we know, like it's a combination of nonce and the data, so the hash key will change accordingly, and it got changed. So the next hash key also changed. So all the blocks of Vijay's hash key changed, due to which anyone can get caught. So Vijay get caught in this case, and this is another characteristic of a blockchain. Like it has a peer-to-peer network and a replicated ledger, and the entries are linked together with each other. It's protected by a cryptographic key, and it's a decentralized system. So everyone owns the data at its end. So this is a basics of blockchain. We've tried to explain it in some layman terms. So the next is, now, if you understood what exactly this network is, if you want to be a part of this network, then what should be the next step? That would be the immediate question, right? So, if you wanted to part of this network, which is an Ethereum network in our case, so you will need a client called as Go Ethereum. So you have to connect to Go Ethereum using Ethereum client. So Go Ethereum will consist of all the records and the ledger present in the Ethereum network, and you will be part of that network. So now you will need a Ethereum virtual machine to connect to this network, and then we'll have an interface where you will connect it. So to execute something on the Web3 interface, you will have to use some uh, programming language called Solidity or Python or JavaScript using JSON RPC protocol. Thus, you can contribute towards this network. So we'll not go into depth of that, but we will see it in some examples in the later on. So there is few more terminologies called as proof of work. So you might have heard about the terminologies called as mining. So what is mining? So earlier, before September 2022, there was a term called as mining, where how people are earning here. So people are getting the Ethereum or blockchain or whatever currency they are using in the terms of the mining, after mining the data, and whoever mines it first was getting that specific transaction amount. So earlier, the proof of work concept were like if three miners are wanted to mine the data, they need a lot of computational power in the first place. And anyone who solves the problem first will get that reward. Uh, as you know, like in the first block, it was 5 diamonds and 121 nons, and then there's a next block which we have solved is 15 diamonds we have to mine, right? So whoever miner will solve this first will get that reward, and it was not that much useful also, because most of the banks and other organizations also criticize in some way, because it is taking a lot of computational power. So, for example, if miner 1 or miner 2 has solved this problem very fastly, but the efforts which miner 1 and miner 3 has invested into solving this problem using large computer networks got wasted. So that is why they have changed it into some proof of stake kind of concept. So this mining concept has been improvised later on after September 2022. So this was the earlier characteristics of proof of work. So I'll go ahead because it is something a little bit depth of it. So in the next step, we have proof of stake, where we just have to stake it. Like we just have to bid for specific problem, like 10 Ethereum or 9 Ethereum or 8 Ethereum, considering the requirement. And whoever is selected randomly here, and will only the person who is selected will solve that problem. Other two will not solve that problem. For example, in this case, taker 3 is selected, so only he will start that problem. And once the problem is solved, it is called as forging in proof of stake. So the characteristics of proof of stake are like rewards are transactional fee only, and there is a random selection of pool. So computational power is replaced by staker, and these changes happened after September 2022. And the new protocols like Solana and Ethereum, all those these are using this kind of mechanism. So this is some basics and introduction which you should know about blockchain before entering into this piece. That is why I have added this information. So now we will go into a little bit of understanding of Ethereum, which you already know. Like it is an environment to run the program in its trusted environments, and to Ethereum has a virtual machine called as EVM. So it needs to be verified and executed on the blockchain. So there are some other terminologies like cryptocurrency and ether, so which you are already might be aware of. Like cryptocurrency is a medium of exchange of the things, and ether is a cryptocurrency again. So now we will move on to the one important topic called as smart contracts. So smart contract is a code that runs on EVM basically, and it accepts and store the data. So we'll again understand it with the example here. So I'll take a similar example so that we are on the same page. So again, Vijay, Mukesh, and Gautam started their mining business, and they wanted to again mine the diamonds here. So once they mined the diamonds, they had a condition, predefined condition. Like if the total diamonds is greater than 100, so they'll distribute among themselves. If not, then it will return back to the government. So this is a condition which they have agreed upon before starting the business, and it's immutable. Remember the word immutable because it cannot be reversed once it is done. So that is nothing but a smart contract. So smart contracts are something a immutable contract. So to create a smart contract, we can build a smart contract on top of Solidity, and we can create it on Ethereum network. And these are some characteristics of the same. Like it's a decentralized agreement, and the important part is it is immutable and transparent. It's fraud proof, and it has a lower cost. So mostly Ethereum networks use smart contracts, and there are multiple use cases of smart contracts which people use it. So supply chain management is one of the major use cases. The retail using it. So there are multiple use cases of smart contracts. So now there is a term called as decentralized application, which we will see. Uh, so I'll not explain it here. So uh, now the interesting topic is Web 3.0, which you might be hearing a lot. So just giving you a brief background about it. Like Web 1.0, when we saw, it was all about static pages, right? So there was absolutely no need of login, and everything was just read-only mechanism. And then when Web 2.0 came, it was information centric, it was interactive, but it was influenced by major stakeholders and the companies. There is a read write system, but there is not a own system on top of it. Like bigger companies were using your data to advertise the products. Even recently, also we can see this happening a lot, selling the data at the cost of our privacy. That is one of the drawback of Web 2.0. So the new term Web 3.0, what is it? So it is now subject to the discussion of internet, and it is basically a new. It has the fundamentals of Web 2.0, but there are some additional features where we name it as a read, write, and own system. So here your data is not compromised, and you are actually owning your own data. So people also call it as a semantic web, and whatever data you are working upon or you are sharing will give some benefits out of it. Like there are multiple applications in Web 3.0 which will very well understand and help you out like how we can use this. So in terms of browser, I am recently using Brave browser a lot. So there are multiple use cases where browser storage video calls, and there are alternative Web 3.0 decentralized application on top of it. So in Brave browser also, if you see any advertisement, you have a choice like if you wanted to see advertisement or not. in the earlier case, whenever you are seeing some advertisement on YouTube or any other channel, you're not earning out of it, right? But in Brave, kind of decentralized application, whatever you will see or whatever time you are spending on the advertisement, you will get a return in terms of coins, or Brave has a BAT coin. So it will give you BAT coins in the exchange, and you can spend that coins in some different avenues. That is again to your choice. So you can also understand it by using Brave browser. So this is some kind of revolution happening around the internet. So now the next important thing is about Web 3.0 stack. So there is a if you wanted to contribute to this network, like how we can do. So there is again a network layer in Web 3.0 where we have this network fundamental layers of Ethereum, Polygon, and other networks. Then we have some non-VM blocks which doesn't have Ethereum network based. When we have interaction layer, we have Supernode, Build, Monitor, this kind of interactions happening on top of the Web3 applications. And if you wanted to develop the application, then variable React developer or JavaScript developer can also be a part of it, because there are native libraries like Ether.js, Web3.js, Alchemy Web3, and there are some developer environments and frameworks like Hardhat, Truffle, which we can use to very well participate in this decentralized application journey and create your own on top of this system. So, and the last is the decentralized application. On top of this network, you can create your own use cases, and you can use this decentralized application. I'll not go into depth of it, but you can read about it a little bit more. I'll directly go on to the demo part of it. The last part of the topic is blockchain testing, like how you can test the system. So it's a systematic evaluation of blockchain from various functional components. I majorly belong from quality engineering background, so I was very curious in terms of like how you can test this application now. It's a little bit different from the traditional application. So what can be done in this case? So there are several components such as we have saw earlier, like blocks, mining, transaction, and wallets. These are the major part of this system. So we should test that system very well. So there are different types of testing here, like smart contract, API, node and peer testing, functional testing. Few words you might be already familiar of, but smart contract testing is something which we can very well look into, where we are validating the methods, validating the processing, and validating the encryption and transmission timing. So we will see it by example. And these are some tools and frameworks which we can use for testing, like Truffle, then Hyperledger Composer, Coda, Ganache for testnet. So I will show you example of Truffle today about the network and like how exactly it is working, and we will see the demo of the same. So it consists of Truffle, Ganache, and Drizzle. So currently we will see it. So I'll just talk about the demo now. So this is a Truffle suite very well you can use for developing the smart contracts and developing a decentralized application. So this is a hosted application which I have hosted locally. So this is a Web3 application. Why it is Web3 application? Because it is connected with my Web3 wallet, which is MetaMask. So I'll connect to Ganache network. So Ganache is something which I've opened in the background. When you're testing anything, you might have some dummy coins or dummy things, right? To test your transactions or anything which you have, right? Test data. So in this case, Ganache will give you that test network, and we call it as a test net in blockchain. So there are multiple pets in this application, right? So if I wanted to buy this pet, I have to click on adopt. You can see in the Ganache also, you can see the address of that block and the transaction and the blocks, right? So currently we are on 98th block, right? If I buy something, the block will increase. I have shown you with the representation as well, right? Like it is a link and the chain. So if I click on adopt, you can see it is asking me for providing some fees, which is some Ethereum amount to buy this product or buy this pet. So once I confirm it, that pet amount will be transferred, and you can see this block size is increased to 99. So there is one block added on top of it, and this was the hash key for that block. If someone tries to tamper the 98 or 97 block, all the blocks will be changed. And this is my network ledger. So this is what I was talking about when I was talking about the ledger and the blockchain in the earlier system. So we have to provide some transactional fees while transacting, which we have seen while doing some transactions, so there is some gas limit or gas fee associated, which is given to the uh, person who is doing the transaction. So this is how Web3 application works. So how it is working? So there is a program for the same. You can very well go and see on that website of Truffle also some demo examples. So these are two contracts which is written: adoption and migration. So I've adopted the bit, right? So now if I wanted to test it, I have to write a test case for the same. So you can write a test case in Solana, or also you can write a test case in JS. So it is not different than what we do in Web 2, but yeah, a little bit of concept was you have to understand some other examples. Considering the AI application is leveraging a lot, so you can also use this kind of system to build and understand this very well. So if I wanted to just test this application, you can just use truffle test. In this case, there is a command called truffle test to execute this contract, and you can see it will actually do the same thing what we have did manually, but try to test the application by your own. So it will compile the contract at your end, and you can see some transaction will be happening. So you can see the block size increase rate. So there are multiple transactions happening in the background, and this is how you can test like if the actual transactions are happening or not before going on to the main Ethereum network, because it consists of huge fees there, right? So that is why we have to test this application very well. So this is a very base of it which I've explained you. I cannot go into depth of it in the short time, but this is how you can start your journey here. So here the difference might be the MetaMask wallet and all those transaction things which you have seen different in the Web3 application. Now coming to the last part of the session, as we are very near to the timing end. So we have Metaverse. We have heard this huge word. So Metaverse is a network of shared virtual workspace where people can meet, connect. We can also Metaverse enabling NFTs into it, exchange between the organizations, and also attend this kind of virtual conference which we are having in Metaverse, right? So it is a talk of a town, and we should definitely experience it. So there are multiple opportunities in metaverse also. This is what Gartner has also predicted. So these are some very good opportunities which is been happening in metaverse, like customer service, brand influence, training, games, events, meetings, and virtual spaces, even office spaces can be migrated at some time. And even retail is one of the major area where you can publish something or even you can sell or buy the products. So I'll quickly walk you through the Decentraland, which is one of the metaverse application which I was using, and we can very well see like how you can experience it at your end. The requirement for using Decentraland is you need to go into the a proper network. You cannot just testnet here, and you have to have a MetaMask or some kind of wallet account to use this. So I've just entered into the decentralized application. I'm hoping like it is visible to you all. So it's very easy. You can also very well go from your own browser also, but you will need some wallet credentials for the same, and you can very well create it. So you have your own avatar here. So you have to create your own avatar. It can be anything. So here I have one avatar which I am using. So I am currently into the Metaverse application, and I'll show you the use cases like how people are using Metaverse in the current times. So once I go into the Metaverse application, I can see there is a Meta Club, right? So what it is doing, so Nestle is advertising it some of the cereals here. So Nestle is a company, right? You must be aware of. So we'll jump in into that club now and see like what exactly they have built or how exactly they're publishing their new products. So this is a Nestle Meta Club. This is something new which is spawned up. So you can directly see and visit with your own people here, and actually you can go into travel into this application and understand like what are the different components here. Like for example, they are selling some T-shirt, hoodies, or even they are actually giving some information about their new product which is going to be launched. So this is something how you can leverage metaverse and create your own virtual workspaces here. So this is one of the application of metaverse, but you can very well reuse it in different terminologies. So I'll just stop this because it is a huge, it takes a lot of bandwidth actually. So this is how you can diverse into metaverse and then use it. So if you wanted to create your own kind of building, you can also like your workspace. There is a builder kind of thing, which every metaverse provider provides, and even you can have your own custom workspaces. But the problem here is land acquisition. So you have to also buy some land to perform some activity on the same. Then there is one another beautiful platform called as OpenSea. I'm not sure if you have gone through it. So here you can publish your art, whatever you have possess, digital art or in any kind of art. Like one of the art which I was seeing is we took a lot of pictures, right? So beautiful cities of the world or anything which you feel, you can buy it out, and the owner which have actually credited this thing or used this will get a credit for the same every time whenever someone purchases it. So you can see there is a 517 ETH transaction already happened just by sharing this on OpenSea, and people are buying it by Ethereum, and one Ethereum is costing nearly 1 lakh or nearly 1.5 lakhs plus rupees. So if I talk about this total volume which is consisting, it is nearly $1 million, which they have already been earning just by selling these art forms. So there is a multiple use cases of NFTs also which we can leverage out and then understand. So this is something which I wanted you to share about, and now I'm open for questions. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your time.
Mukund, that was a very interesting session. The way you explained it using characters and everything, even a non-tester like me understood every part of that presentation. So thank you so much for that. We will be taking few questions. We will take around 2-3 questions and then we can end the session. So one question we have is, how do you see smart contracts working for government contracts for infrastructure? As an example, will there be an increase in accountability and to define end date for Bangalore's road to be fixed? Will the public be able to see details?
Yeah, definitely. Like government contract for infrastructure can be used, but it is again in a talking phase, like where people have started giving suggestion and use cases in terms of smart contracts and the use cases, but still not implemented at the level which we have wanted. But in future, like for example, if collectively people wanted to construct the roads or wanted to improvise the roads at the in the front of their door, right? So collectively they can vote, and then considering the volume of people suggesting the changes, can reach out to the government and then they can fix that specific problem. So instead of having central authority ruling that, we can use collectively our opinions to fix that issue. So that is how we can do it. But even I have not seen a lot of major examples in government using these new technologies and solving the problem. But it is a future where we can target.
That sounds really interesting. We have another question. How can we start with blockchain testing from manual QA?
Yeah, as I have mentioned, so as a manual QA or as a QA itself, the main thing is analyzing the things and understanding the scenarios, what is happening, and the little bit of domain understanding of what we're working on. Even if you, when Web 2.0 was there, we were in the phase like how we can test this now application what we have. So what you have analyzed it, you have understand the application, and then you have written scenarios on top of it. In Web 3.0, it is a similar case. The application which you have seen today, I have also shown one application without VR and AR, right? It's just a static application. The only thing was the wallet. So how we can write scenarios with respect to the transactions, with respect to the blocks and the hash code, what is happening? That is the key characteristic of it. Anyone can write test cases or even develop smart contracts. This is what I feel. It's just the understanding of domain and the topic you need to go into it.
Understood. We have one more question. That is the last question that we'll take. What are key challenges for blockchain testing?
As of now, there are not much, like there are blockchain applications, but there are not specific strategies around it, like how you should start. Like we have a software testing life cycle. So how we can fit in blockchain into that life cycle, and what kind of life cycle will be specifically for blockchain. So we need to identify blockchain testing life cycle for the same, and then create a strategy around it, which is missing as of now, which as a community we have to build up, and that is one of the challenge. There are multiple ways people do it ad hocly. Everyone has its own strategy to test the blockchain application as of now, but we have to come up with a formalized solution, like if there is a Web3 application or a metaverse application, how we can test it. So that is their resources are very segregated, so there is no similar channel to do it.
Understood. Understood. Hopefully, in future we'll have that as we talk more about the topic.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mukund. It was a great session, and even I can see everyone is so excited about this session because it's a new topic. It's a topic that has been a talk for a few years, and you explaining it in such simple terms, it was amazing. So, thank you so much for this session.
Thanks,
Um,
Vanshika. And I would also like to thank Testfed for inviting me and helping me out in sharing my knowledge with the community. So I also like that. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you all. Bye.